Research Week 2024. So before we move on with the panel discussion, I believe now it's the best time to launch the Bolgoda Plains Research Magazine, Volume 4, Issue 2, by the Editor-in-Chief, Professor Kanchana Pereira. So now this is a very warm invitation to our Professor Kanchana Pereira to launch the magazine.
Good morning to you all. As the editor-in-chief of the Volume 4, Issue 2, I have the pleasant task of launching the magazine. So, this is our research magazine for the University of Moratuwa. Right, you can see the cover page. Then you can see the contents page. I would like to thank all the authors, reviewers for their spending their valuable time and meeting our deadlines. Editorial board and the production team for their enormous work. Special thanks to Professor Gopura, Dean, Faculty of Graduate Studies, for his continuous support and encouragement. And Malsha and Umesha from FGS office, thank you very much for your kind support. I hope all the contributors will continue your support for future issues as well. And finally, I would like to kindly invite you all to enjoy reading the latest volume of Bolgoda Plains. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to start the panel discussion of the Research Week 2024. So the panel discussion topic of the Research Week is the theme of the Research Week itself. Connecting academics, practitioners, and society, breaking silos and collaborating towards wider social impact. So today's panel discussion will be an exciting opportunity to explore the university's potential for multidisciplinary collaboration in addressing social challenges. So over the years, we have established centers of excellence and made progress in interdisciplinary research, of course, across our faculties. However, the key questions remain are these efforts truly effective and sustainable in driving real societal change? Are we academics engaging enough with practitioners for our research? Are we breaking down the silos between our faculties enough to make a meaningful difference? So through this session, we hope to find some solutions that help us to maximize the impact of our research and address the challenges that society faces today. So just like me, I believe everyone in the audience is as excited to hear from our distinguished panelists for the session as they share their insights and ideas on how we can strengthen our collective research efforts. So now, to guide us through this insightful discussion, I'd like to invite the facilitator for today's session, Dr. Chatura De Silva from the Department of Town and Country Planning, Faculty of Architecture, onto the stage. So Dr. Chatura will introduce our esteemed panelists and lead the conversation as we dive deeper into these topics. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning. And as we are already behind the schedule, I'll quickly invite the panelists onto the floor. First of all, let me invite Professor Gopura, the Dean, Faculty of Graduate Studies, and then Professor Asankika Sandanayaka, Dean, Faculty of Architecture, Professor Manatunga, Dean, Faculty of Engineering, and Dr. Pilapittiya, representing the nominee from the Faculty of Medicine, and Dr. Ilankoon, the nominee from the Faculty of Business. And also let me invite Professor Jayasekara, Director Research, also to the forum. And unfortunately, we were expecting the representative from the Faculty of IT, but due to unavoidable circumstances, we are not having a nominee here today. Thank you. Right, I will just give you a very quick intro from here, and then I will move to this one. Now, as we all know, we have 6 faculties in the university, And when we look at University of Moratuwa, we all know that we can proudly say we are from University of Moratuwa because we have that brand name in the university. And if we go and see in the industry, like we see most people, like some of them are academics working in the industry very actively. Like personally, I know in built environment, like civil engineering, architecture, QS, you know, everything, like they work in the industry. Their presence, our presence is there in the industry. Now, one of the questions how this fit into this today's theme. Now, when we talk about the research, and when we look, one of the indicators, whether we like it or not, one of the measurements of research success lies within the publications and the rank, I mean like journals, Q1, right? So there we don't see our presence, but there are a lot of positives. Very recently, I think some of you might have seen that the library had done a in-depth study on the statistics about our performance. And one of the notable facts there, in 2023, we see a lot of inter-department research and international collaborations. So we are performing well in that. However, one thing that we notice is that this between departments, between faculties, the graphs are not so high. So that itself paved the way for this discussion, because our theme for this year's panel discussion is connecting academic practitioners and society, breaking silos and collaborating towards wider social impact. Now, why this theme came in, like couple of years back, I happened to be also involving in the panel discussion, same thing. Couple of years back, 2022, the theme was around towards crisis resilient research. Last year, it was about shaping future through advocacy in multidisciplinary collaborations. Now, multidisciplinary collaboration was there last year. So how can we build upon? To lay out the specific aims of today's session, let me read out the sort of a synopsis that we wrote. This year's panel discussion focuses on fostering collaborative research culture that ensures the research will ensure in bringing wider social impact going beyond publication. So how can we just, publication can be a good measure, but how can we promote that culture? And also, while centers of excellence exist under the Faculty of Graduate Studies, questions remain regarding effectiveness, efficiency and sustainability of these units within the university in undertaking collaborative research, on facilitating collaborative research. And this discussion expect to reflect on our research culture. So the first round, all the deans representing faculties reflect on the current practice at their faculties. And the second round will talk about opportunities for collaboration, where we can have potential opportunities for collaborative research. What are the barriers? And how can we use existing institutional setup to facilitate, leverage on that? So these are the sort of elements that we are going to discuss today. To set a sort of a working definition for what collaborative research is, let's sort of define it for the purpose. It's defined as partnerships across disciplines, institutions, industries or communities to address complex societal issues. Now the type of research can vary from interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary, right? So with that quick intro, let me just move on to the discussion.
I would like to take the reflections of our esteemed panelists representing the faculty about your reflection on university's role in conducting social beneficial research, the current practices within the faculties, and your opinion on the importance of collaborative research. So I would like to start it from Professor Bhuku. What do you have to say on this?
Thank you very much, Dr. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizing committee of this 2024 Research Week. So as you mentioned, this time theme and panel discussion theme is the same. Importantly, the theme consists of 3 keywords. As I can identify 3 keywords, those are breaking silos and as well as collaboration. As well as the third one is the last one, that is the social impact. That is the most important one of the research. Now, since we are discussing about the social impact, we have to understand how we can give a social impact. In order to give a social impact, we need to do a research which are related to the society. So we know that in the current society, society is complex as well as the problems available with us is also complex. In order to solve the complex problems, we might have to collaborate. So that's why we are discussing about multidisciplinary collaboration, interdisciplinary as well as transdisciplinary. So first of all, since you have mentioned about the multidisciplinary, disciplinary and transdisciplinary, we will define what those are. So if you take multidisciplinary, as name mentioned, multidisciplinary. There are different disciplines. There are interdisciplines. They are working for one or few research questions or problems. Sometimes they might share the questions. They might work part of the questions. So if we identify one field or one entity or one area from a circle, we have few circles. Those are different disciplines. So the multidisciplinary, the difference is with others. So multidisciplinary, the boundaries are different, but they work for one or few goals. The interaction and the implication and cost of each disciplines are limited. But if you go to the interdisciplinary, you have different disciplines. They are integrated partially. And also, they have cross interactions. If you know that the setting, if we can take one discipline and setting, that's the intersection. Those are interdisciplinary. But if you go to the transdisciplinary, so you cannot find different domains, different fields. All are together. We can integrate them in a one circle. So inside one circle, all are working together. No clear boundaries. With the multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary, sometimes there are boundaries there. So without the barrier, without the boundaries, if you want work, that should be transdisciplinary. But in our case, we are still discussing about the multidisciplinary. We need to move forward to the interdisciplinary as well as to the transdisciplinary. So since you have asked about the current practice of the University of Moratuva, so we have established multidisciplinary research centers in 2015 and 16. So initially we had 7 centers. The seed funding was given by the University of Moratuva, and then now we have 10 centers and 2 are in pipeline. From those centers, some are very active, some are active, some are not visible. So our task is to improve their activities. So since I have mentioned some are not visible, what we have to do is the centers that are not visible, we have to bring it to visible. For that, as the deans and deans representatives here, we have to do a major task. So I think I have a lot to talk, and we will go to the next round and we can discuss further.
Thank you, Professor. I would like to hear from Professor Sandanayaka from Faculty of Architecture.
Thank you, Dr. Chatura. First of all, I also would like to thank the Research Week chairperson as well as the entire organizing committee for having this excellent Research Week with a lot of activities, and I think today is the last day. And organizing this important panel discussion on this very important topic. So I will not go back to the topic since Dr. Professor Gopura has already explained it very well. Let me discuss about Faculty of Architecture, what we do, whether we do enough in this particular topic. So if you look at Faculty of Architecture itself, it is a very diverse faculty with 5 different departments: building economics, architecture, town and country planning, integrated design, and facilities management. So you can see it's really diverse, not like engineering faculty, which offers all the degrees are engineering. Medical faculty, all the degrees are medical related degrees. But in my faculty, degrees are different. So when it comes to research, it is diverse. So the nature of diversity itself support the multidisciplinary type of studies. But yes, I too have a question whether we do enough in multidisciplinary research. I feel most of our staff members, they do research in their own silos, and most of them, or most of our publications are from undergraduate research, because we give a lot of weightage for that undergraduate dissertations as well as undergraduate design projects. So based on those, they can easily publish good journal articles in Q1, Q2 journals. But if I talk about the positive side, at the moment, out of the, you said around like how many research centers? 12 centers, 10 centers. So out of 10 centers, architecture faculty provide leadership to 3 centers. Center for Cities, Disaster Management Center, as well as a packaging center. So you can see we have initiated some steps towards the implementation of this multidisciplinary research with other faculties, other departments, but we can do more. Especially, we have this design department, so even they can involve in research related to, let's say, with the medical faculty in medical equipment design and development. So, there are some potential for further improvement. So when you consider the diverse nature of the faculty itself can do collaborative research, as well as we can do a lot of other research with the other faculties, but there are challenges which we can discuss in the next round. If I give just an example, one is the current workload. Everyone is complaining about the workload. So that is one, and another reason could be, as Chatura correctly said, we do a lot of consultancy projects. So some lecturers are involved in that side. So we have challenges, but of course, we can convert some of these challenges as benefits to, I'll explain it in the next round, how we can convert these challenges to address some of the issues that we can have currently in order to establish this multidisciplinary research in the next round.
Largest faculty in the institute. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me. My sincere appreciations goes to the organizers. In fact, you are true. Engineering faculty has been the largest at this university. I think the engineering faculty enjoys the privilege of putting expertise together. We have 10 major departments, and if we divide that into sub sectors or themes, you can, I don't know how many sub specializations that we can talk of. And engineers are creators. They create, and they have contributed immensely to development of civilizations. Civilizations have flourished because of the ingenuity of engineers. There's no doubt about it. And now the different disciplines can put together, and we can leverage the expertise that we have in different departments. Nowadays, we can't live within one discipline. They are interconnected. As Professor Gopura rightly mentioned, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary might be the norm than the exception to today's world. For example, the very example that Professor Indika gave this morning, if you take aluminium as a product now, from extraction, our earth resources engineers might have a role to play, and innovations might so research might lead to innovations. Then the material extractions, material engineers are the experts on that. Their research is indispensable in that. And then the usage, the processes might be designed by chemical engineers. Mechanical engineers have a lot to play in the processes. Robotics, automation, power supply, waste management done by chemical engineers and civil engineers. The infrastructure has to be built by the civil engineers. The transportation sector also would facilitate logistics. Right now, from one discipline to the other, it's a chain of things. And at some stage, they all will contribute to one objective, right? But these individual specializations have to do their homework mainly on research. They need to think about the applicability of their research and how it is connected to the overall path towards the final product formation. Because they cannot do their work independently, because the next step and there's a step from there onwards. So it's a chain of things put together, and they are very intricately connected to each other. Engineers from any discipline can make a contribution to the final product. And also when it comes to societal acceptance, right? Sometimes we do things that might not be connected with the society. For example, I'm from the environmental engineering sector. If I develop wastewater technologies, for example, I can do wonders. There are researchers here who might be looking at nanomaterials. Yeah, nanomaterials are wonderful products. But if I use nanomaterials or nanomembranes and devise a very sophisticated wastewater treatment system, sometimes the applicability, research-wise, it's good, right? But acceptability-wise, the cost implications, the practical problems in utilizing that, those things might come into light when you can publish a paper, maybe a Q1 journal, maybe more than one Q1 journal. But the acceptability-wise, it might not be very interesting. But if I devise some kind of a pit latrine, a modification for a pit latrine, for example, I might not be able to publish that. But the society might accept it, right? So you have to take the message that you carry from the research to be effective, right? If the research outcomes are not useful for another party, maybe individuals, communities, or population at large, they might not be very effective. I would say research is very important when it comes to the societal acceptance, right? There can be very, very deep research conducted, might not be translated to any practical use, right? And probably published in the world best journals, right? That's when we have to consider the sustainable development goals, right? If you always keep sustainable development goals in mind, how your research would lead to sustainability, how it would lead to upliftment of a needy community, for example. You have to, things like decent work practices, consumption, sustainable consumption, reducing inequality, reduction of poverty. Those things are the key if you want to make a societal change, right? Can be from anywhere. Maybe there are very, very advanced technologies available. You can think of, now very recently we did some projects with the Department of, Faculty of Architecture on flood mitigation and disaster reduction. So they are across disciplines. And we have conducted so much of research at civil engineering, engineering faculty connecting with, again, Faculty of Architecture on sustainable materials and low-cost housing, even though we call them low-cost housing, they are appropriate technologies that we are making use of so that people can afford to apply the knowledge that we create. And we have done lots of work on sustainable transportation systems. Electronic engineers have contributed. Transport and logistics have the department they have contributed. And there are lots of things when it comes to machine learning, artificial intelligence, IoT, this 3D printing. Professor Indika was talking to us, and building information management systems where electronics, communication engineers, mechanical engineers, MEP engineers, as well as architects can come together. So engineering is, if you take engineering, the opportunities are infinite, right? You can always find a gap that you can fill so that you can create new knowledge. You can serve the humanity.
So I think one thing I will reiterate, you know that for research, the ranking is a measurement. Now what you raise is a very important point, like a university like ours.
Sometimes we have to look at the impact of research. I think there are new metrics that have been developed to see the impact of the publications rather than going by the citations, right?
Yeah.
Still, we are going by the number of views, number of citations, right? But now there are new metrics coming up recently, so they measure the impact of research. I think that if that can be taken forward, I think it might be a meaningful metric to measure the research.
Something that we can take forward for the next round, but a very valid point, how we measure it. Dr. Pilapidia.
Yes. First, on behalf of the medical faculty, we would like to thank the organizing committee for inviting us and in sharing the views. Now, medicine, of course, is one of the classical examples of what multidisciplinary research and multidisciplinary collaborations can bring about to the world. So medicine today, the modern medicine today is nothing but output of multidisciplinary work. Now we as clinicians are nothing if the technology is not there. And then also if you see, even in the management, if the ventilator is not there in an intensive care unit, whatever the medical knowledge you have is practically useless. So all that is there in medicine is a contribution of many disciplines, and those of course in other countries we have seen this research goes in a big way, and all the advances in medicine which has been made today is because of these multidisciplinary activities. So I think it's one of the classical examples what these multidisciplinary collaborations and work together can do to the mankind. So of course it was about 75 years back, it was a different story. Medicine was on its own, but we call that stage as a primitive stage. It was not the advanced medicine that we are speaking of today. So I think it's the way out, and as the medical faculty also being located within the University of Moratuwa, I think we have seen a lot of advantages, and our medical faculty is one of the is the only faculty which has a medical technology stream. And we see the benefits, and I actually envy the students when I go for their assessments. Why did we did not have that opportunity? The scope they speak of, and their variety in the process of thinking is much more than we had the opportunities as students. So we see the results even now that the broader perspectives that they see and the opportunities they capture are immense. So I think it's a field. I think this collaborative work promoting activities would be very, very beneficial, and it spans through a whole thing. Now, usually people think medical faculties do interact with science faculties, which is not so. Of course, most of the time what has happened is because of in the university system where the medical faculties are situated, that is what has happened. And all throughout we have been trying to develop new chemical entities, drugs and so on. But if you see in this part of the world, we have never come out with a new drug. And the only example if Sri Lanka has contributed is the wind alkaloids. But again, from this minimal plant, we have extracted and isolated the wind alkaloid, but the drug vincristine was produced elsewhere. So there is a certain point beyond which we can't go because of our financial situation and so on. But if you take the other opportunities like the technology and involvements, I think those are areas where we can really work on and also bring about some very practical and realistic outcomes, through developing devices, and which of course, and I think recently we had a Sri Lanka Clinical Trials Registry came and had a session with us. And so one thing that was brought out was the NMRA do not have a pathway to register devices. So I think those are the areas that we could work on together to create new pathways of registering new devices, because those are areas where we can contribute. Those might be low cost devices and so on. So I think from a medical perspective, there is a lot of opportunity for collaborating, and with all the faculties, for a slight example, one might think what might we do with the Faculty of Architecture. But again, as we go on in the next rounds, we can discuss. If you really see the patient concerns, perspectives, I have come across some patients who say they don't want to stay in a room where the ceiling height is low. When they are critically ill, it creates fear. So, and have we looked into these matters? So sometimes a patient is dying in fear because we have not had the right ceiling height. And those are the things where you can be very innovative and come out with innovative ideas and things that the mankind will benefit. So I'll stop there and hand over.
Thank you, Doctor, and Dr. Ilankun.
But thank you again for inviting us to share our views in this important session. Representing the Dean of the Faculty of Business, I would say when it comes to societal needs, it's quite obvious the importance of having multidisciplinary approach, because like societal needs, the society would very hardly see a problem from a single discipline. I would say it could be a problem that we have maybe in connection to tourism, maybe in connection to biodiversity, whatever. There can be different perspectives. So the solution we look for hardly will fall into a single discipline. So obviously having a multidisciplinary approach is a need of the time. Talking about the present situation, in some positive notes, coming from the Faculty of Business, I would say it has been some kind of a blessing for the Faculty of Business, because we have diverse team coming from different backgrounds. We have engineers, we have finance experts, we have management, and we have HR experts and so on. It's a collection of different disciplines anyway. And of course, Faculty of Business, if you look at the roots, it starts back in 25 years ago. We were attached to the Faculty of Engineering, so we still have that connection, working in harmony in many areas. Just to mention a few, particularly when it comes to masters, we've been running a very successful masters program for maybe for 20 years. And recently we started another master's program at the faculty. There we see the supervision and the examination. We have good representation from other faculties. These are some of the positive things. However, we see opportunities. Now, these being the formal, supervising or examining the master's thesis would be the formal arrangement. But beyond that, there is no such formality in forming such multidisciplinary research, at least how we see. But I should also mention going back to our own disciplines that is connected to different backgrounds, that has been a strength at personal levels. Right? Now, for example, I've been an engineer coming from University of Peradeniya. I still have very close contacts to Faculty of Engineering Peradeniya. Like I've been working at the Faculty of Business. So on, like each of our faculty members would have their roots elsewhere, and they work in very harmony. That's been a very, very positive point. But I should emphasize these at very personal level. Personal level, of course, it's happening to a fairly a good, I mean, appreciable level, but something of formal arrangement can definitely leverage these opportunities. That is what I believe. Well, I was asking my colleagues of their opinion. This is not my personal view anyway, representing the Dean. So this is what I heard from my colleagues back in the faculty. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I will sort of rephrase the question before moving to Professor Jayasekara now. This director research is a portion probably where you get the chance to see the research carried out by different departments. So how do you reflect on the current trends you see when it comes to research undertaken across departments, across faculties? So what is your sort of reflection on based on the current trends you see in the university?
Yeah. Maybe before answering that, I will just explain what is the existing setup. Like we have Office of Research, and mainly it was established 2015, and after that mainly administer this SRC grants, and faculties, there are research units mainly focused on their dissemination or conducting conferences, organizing symposia and conferences. And that is the setup. And in addition to that, the FGS is facilitating this collaborative multidisciplinary centers, the student aspect of the research. And the current trends, actually, the current state, like if you look at, we have big potential. We have like academic staff members, various faculties with various different expertise. They are continuing with research. One of the main question they had, then if we discuss with 10 people, they ask why we are doing research. What is the outcome we get? That is one question we have to address. But there are 3 or 4 categories. Those who are actively engaged with research, with a research group, continuously after coming back from higher studies. Others are occasionally doing research with undergraduates. And there are other group, another group, they are not mainly actively engaged with research, but supervise some undergraduate projects. There are some other staff members, they think that we don't have to do research. Then we are a teaching university and we can continue. Those 4 categories are there. But the main research outcome is based on maybe first 2, they are doing research or supporting research. Then that is there. But then from university side, there should be a motivation for like those who are doing research to improve their conditions. Then those who are not doing research, to encourage them to start working or collaborating with others. And then from the SRC grant viewpoint, like we have seen like in a grant, sometimes there is a collaboration from another department that is there, but they are not formally stating as a collaboration, but it's more of a personal basis they are contacting. As an example, if you are doing a robotic project, electrical may collaborate with mechanical. Sometimes if it is, sometimes I have seen some application like medical is collaborating with library or business. Likewise, there are like personal level engagement. Then their output may be indicated in that analysis done in the library because that is more or that in the personal contact basis. In addition to that, like from Office of Research, actually from these 10 years, mainly the focus is to administer Senate Research Committee grants. But if you look at other aspects, like it includes promotion of research or to encourage researchers, and likewise there are but we need to expand the support from university to move that current state of we have the all different types of different individuals working on research in different levels to motivate them to go into next level. That may be a big challenge, but in addition to that, there are some ethical issues also. Sometimes the academic staff members fear that if we collaborate, then my idea maybe he may continue his own. That is also there, but there are some true examples also. That's why they are telling. Then we need to promote, I think, ethical and responsible way of collaboration. Not just collaboration, maybe university side or from the culture, we have to say we don't have to, we don't need, it's not good to or ethical to do such things. That is my current view. Thank you.
Very interesting point that you raised, like although how far we say collaborative research, but how to materialize. So we'll come back to it. Now, although we have a limited audience, but I think people are here because you have a real interest on the topic. Now, what we are thinking, we discuss at the end of the panel discussion to develop a white paper and then submit it to the FGS, hopefully to take it forward with the suggestions. Now, the second round, I will sort of split in a way to sort of manage the time. So I will pose this question on opportunities, the areas for collaborative research, challenges, right? This question to Professor Manatunga, Professor Sandanayaka, and Dr. Pilibitiya. Where, I mean, according to you, with your experience, where we see the opportunities, potentials, and what are the challenges, and even suggestions on how we can sort of address those.
Yeah, I think as Dr. Pilibitiya also mentioned, we have tremendous potential, and I think that we can overcome any challenge. Now, most of the people say that financial resources are not available, but you have to look for them. They are available. Our research community is not willing to go after research funding. And one thing is we need to promote the research culture. The first day that you come to the university, that's where you have to nurture the skills. We are waiting until they come to the semester 7 to introduce the research. It should not be the case. The first day that they are here, we have to teach them the research methods. Every single bit that they are doing and submitting should be supported by some kind of research. Identifying the need for conducting that particular study, maybe a small topic in a module, and then how to find related information, past work that have been done, and then how to formulate a solution for some problem, right? So the courseworks that we have, I think traditionally we have been copying from the senior batch to the other. I mean, there's no training whatsoever that is imparted on the student. I think the academic community also have to better equip with innovative ideas rather than going by the same curriculum over and over again annually. That's what we need to do. And also I firmly believe that we teach the students too much. We don't let them think for themselves. We are suppressing them, and their creativity might suffer at the end of the day. I was teaching at a Japanese university for some time, and virtually by the time they enter the semester 7, the final year, they are free of all the courses. Right? They can complete the courses on their own. They don't have to wait until, I mean, there are prerequisites that they have to complete. But in our case, we have very tight compartments which we call semesters, right? Whether they like it or not, they have to wait until semester 7 to take up semester 7 courses. But you can't, skip other semesters and do semester 7. But still, the supervisors encourage the students to complete the modules as quickly or soon as they can, and the final year is entirely for the research work. That's how they come up with very good research. They are not bound with any time constraints. If I have to suggest one modification, why not introducing a fifth year, right? And we award the students a master's degree rather than a bachelor's degree. For those who want to exit at bachelor's level, they can leave the last year without any gap between bachelor's and the master's. They can continue. The fifth year can entirely be on research. The fourth year research can be continued until better results are attained, right? And they can skip from SLQF 6 to either 9 or 10 in 1 year or 1.5 years time. So their time spent here might be more meaningful. They might contribute to a lot of research. And also we need the innovation hub rather than just isolated centers. There have to be connectivity. And we don't have, we have symposia, we have conferences, very formal ones. What we need is informal discussions among research groups. We have to encourage that. Them in some universities they call it colloquiums, right? Informal discussions. You come sit, equal-minded people just discussing certain things, right? So that is how originality would be induced in the research community, rather than listening at a symposium or conference, a very formal presentation. I don't know, I never learned anything from listening to a conference paper presentation, but rather if the same person sits with me for 2 minutes, I might get the message, a clear message than what he has presented for 10-15 minutes. So we have to go away from formal. Now the research week is one forum that we can make use of. We can have a very informal, and at department levels we can have, I don't know, for some reason we don't informally, I mean, we don't encourage the students, even within departments we have, very rarely we do that. And I was suggesting at the different forums, now I am from even though I am the dean, I'm originally from the Department of Civil Engineering. I was always suggesting why don't we have CDPs involving architecture students, building economics and civil engineering. They do more or less they can blend themselves together, come up with a very good CDP. Why not electronics and mechanical engineering get together, propose CDP? That's how we connect the disciplines together, right? So even for their professional development, that's good. They're exposed to other departments as well, and that's how I think the original research ideas would. They're all, as Professor Gopura said, multidisciplinary. So we have to promote interaction between these different disciplines, which we don't do, and we are fighting against dividing the academic work between departments. No, this is my domain. You can't touch that. That's the opinion that some of our faculty
interruption, Professor, like where we can, in your opinion, where we can start breaking these silos?
Let students interact freely between the departments. Don't propose research titles or anything by the supervisor and force the student to say do whatever that I tell you as a supervisor, right? Some students might need a lot of guidance, but some students can act very independently. We have to let that independent group of students to do freelance research work, right? Mind you, universities might go up the ladder because of the top maybe 5 to 10% of the students. If we don't give freedom for those 5 to 10% top performers, we are losing their creativity. We are not making them very good researchers who would contribute back to the university. Sorry, I took.
Okay, Chatura, I will start from your question where we can break the silos, like, with an example. Right, 2 days ago, I attended a very important research dissemination workshop organized by TCP. Right, that research is about human-elephant conflict. It's a very socially impactful issue and a study. And that study was done by your third year students, right? So it is something that we can continue to the next level if you want with the other faculties, other departments. Now, to extend that particular research, if you look at, I mean, I'm taking one example, right? So if you want to take it into the next level, you can link with, let's say, IT department. You may need some support from IT department, especially in data management, information handling, and engineering department, engineering faculty on developing some devices maybe, right? But that particular research was excellent study done by third year students, and it was well received from the experts in the industry. So likewise, as Professor Manatunga said, we can start from our own students from undergraduate level. From the very first day, we should give them that research input, research culture, right, and the education from the very first day, so that when they come into their, let's say, the second year, third year, and especially when they come into the final year, they know how to do a proper research and also collaborative research. So if you can, next year, let's say, if you can expand that study with another project with IT faculty, so that you can also share the workload. Staff can share the workload. Students can also share the feeling of each other, right? How the IT guys look at that research. Sometimes it may be different from how you look at it, right? Maybe when it comes to engineering, engineers, they may look at it in a different way, right? Now, what Professor Dr. Pilapitiya said a few minutes ago about hospitals, and this is the second time I'm hearing the same thing within a week. Right, during the research week, there was a research on the suitability of Mullaria Hospital, that design architecture for patients with mental illnesses, and I heard that there was one teledrama produced in that location, taken as the prison, right? So prison done at the Mullaria Hospital. So whether, but in a way, it is at that time that was the architecture. Right? Even Professor Jagat said, even if you look at the Royal College or St. Thomas's, has this similar kind of architecture. Right? Yesterday, I happened to go to Colombo Hospital, paying modes. Though it is a paying mode, rooms are large, but a little bit dark and gloomy. So whether that architecture is suitable. So we should provide that interdisciplinary knowledge to our undergraduates. Otherwise, they will stick into their own design thinking, their own architectural design, or the when it comes to maybe product design, right? Thinking. And when it comes to maybe, let's say, planners, right? You may think about your profession with when you don't have the thinking of the other professionals. How do they see? So we should give that feeling to the students from the very inception before they become a fully fledged professional. So I agree with Professor Manatunga. We should start it from the very first day. And When it comes to the resources, as he said, there are a lot of funding resources available outside. The issue is we don't know whether we are tapping into those funding sources. When it comes to internal funds, right, you know that our own staff members, they do a lot of consultancy projects, and we contribute a lot to the university development fund, right? So I think we should use that fund effectively to promote research. We use it at the moment, but is it sufficient? Now we have provided seed funding for these multidisciplinary research centers nearly 10 years ago, right? 6, 7, 8 years ago. But thereafter, I don't know whether we have provided any funding to the newly established research centers. So I think we better put some proposals to the university management to use some of these consultancy projects funding to support these research, multidisciplinary research centers and multidisciplinary research work, maybe undergraduate work. But if they can provide funding to these projects, we can promote multidisciplinary research, and we can also break the silos.
Dr. Pilapitia, more specific sort of a point to highlight now. This medical technology was something that was there from the outset, that Moratuwa medical faculty will be unique because of technology. This is the first time that I'm hearing that it had taken wings, no, like had realized to some extent. So you can also reflect on that.
Yes, I think now what we are seeing from our students is their thinking process is much advanced than the generation of us because, you know, of this input. So they, and of course, one thing is the innovative ideas they come across. And the other thing from that, what we can infer is, even if as universities, what we should be thinking is even the students to allow to work across disciplines. So what we were having, just a random thought was, if the engineering students can be placed in a ward setup, in a clinical rounds, like the medical students for a brief period, say a few days or a week, you know, they will pick up so many gaps that they could address. It might be very simple interventions from their perspective. But for us, we don't know. We just, we only note that this defect is there. We think, okay, what can we do? There is no solution. We just pass. But at the other end, a patient is suffering. So it's a person with a technological mind is there. He might come up with a quick solution. A very classic example is, now one problem we are really struggling, you know, from our student days, what we have seen is the bed sores. You know, a critically ill patient or a post-surgical, you know, then they lie because of the pressure, you know, to the bed. On the pressure points, you get ulcers or wounds, which, you know, grow deep, and sometimes people succumb to that. And it's a mess, you know, where you are critically ill every day, every half an hour, you have to turn the patient to one side and the other, and it's a very difficult, you know, situation for the patient. But, you know, say textile might come and design a small, you know, a cloth or something that can be placed there, which will avoid this pressure source. So those might be quite simple, and, you know, you might also not need large amount of finances going into such research. So the other thing that I thought was, as we go on, now, considering the country's financial status as well, we will be able to find out what you call this cost-effective research or low-cost ones. The output might have a very huge impact, but of course, what we have to invest on the research might be quite low. And I think earlier, as it was said, the hospitals. Now, when you work in the healthcare sector, you know, there are some wards, when you walk in, you feel like staying and doing work. Some wards, you walk, you don't want to wait. You have to, you know, one common complaint is, you know, out of many reasons. One reason sometimes doctors don't stay in wards is you can't stay. They are warm, they are very clumsy, humidity is high, and it's not only the old hospitals. See, even the newer hospitals. Yesterday, I think day before yesterday, we had to go to the Kalutara to see our Prof. Vinit's establishment. And one of the Finland projects has put up a very nice hospital there for pediatrics and obstetrics. But when you go inside, it's very warm and moist because all the two sides of the walls are glass with very minimum ventilation. So you have this greenhouse effect, and it has been built recently. So you walk to Javadhanapura. I have worked as a trainee. You don't want to leave the ward. You are quite comfortable, and the patients are also very relaxed. And so see all this, and unfortunately, see if you see, the ministry will not have a guide on at least a plan going through them and being assessed on architectural and other this thing. And because too much of light is also a problem. Patients don't like to stay when the light is too much, but less light is also very gloomy, and when you have illnesses, you naturally have a tendency to get depressed, and the light has an impact on precipitating depression. So those are the areas which will not really need lot of money, but of course if you are sensitive to this, we will come out with wonderful research outcomes which will really have a very huge impact on what we do. So I think the same with engineering and technology, if you are sensitive. So what I think is we have enough opportunities, and some will not really need lot of financial inputs, but the outcomes will really have an impact on our population. And so the only thing we need is to, as Professor Manatunga said, to have informal discussions and have identify these problems and think of how we can forge together to make the research.
Thank you, Dr. Pilapiti. And I think this discussion is nicely set, and probably Dr. Ilankun, like representing the faculty of business. Now, even the breaking silos, in my opinion, it's a management term to explain why certain organizations stuck in certain positions, right? So not only the general question, but I would also happy to see, like, can business faculty play a leading role in sort of, we see a lot of potential opportunities were discussed. So restructuring this entire thing, at least giving that hope for the top leadership, like how can we break the silo? Because with the things how it happened, probably it may be, we may see a consultant hired outside to come up with that proposal can be the worst thing we can expect. But still, can you shed some sort like on how this can be done? Because last year's research panel discussion, there was a very interesting point shared by one of the panelists. The gentleman said, now engineering students, when they do their research, they try to think of marketing their research. They almost forget the technicality. He is just citing general experience. Business students, now they are looking for a product to market. So where they spend a lot of time is to develop the product, not to sort of take it forward. So what are your thoughts? I'm pretty sure I'm not putting it in a difficult situation, but just general perception.
That's fine. I mean, well, now all this we do, I mean, it's end of the day, it's the wealth creation, but what matters, what we contribute to the nation's economy. So when it comes to that question, of course, I think as a faculty, we can, and I feel we should play a major role in not just dissemination of the knowledge, but also to commercialize and to produce something that is marketable, and end of the day making some contribution to the nation's economy. In that aspect, I believe we have the experts. I believe in the faculty, coming from like finance backgrounds, entrepreneurship, innovation, and so on. From their expertise, I think there is a huge opportunity left when it comes to creating a more impactful impact in the sense of realizing commercial, I mean, what to say, in sense of producing something that is sellable, so to say. Right? Yeah. But there again, I should not be giving promises that the business faculty is the body to take the lead. I haven't consulted my colleagues on this point, but anyway, since I did not expect this point, but I believe there again it should be some kind of collaboration happening. Well, of course, we can bring in that interface, but it's again a collaboration that should happen. But since we have probably comparatively a closer contact with the respective bodies when it comes to commercialization, I believe we can play a significant role. But beyond that, if I am to just add something in general, probably not directly answering to your question, but the answer that already was the question that was already answered. If I am to add something, I want to give an example. We just had the ICBR, the Conference of the Business Faculty, a few days back, and I had my colleagues. Invitees coming from Sweden. I took them to visit the University of Peradeniya. I will be talking more about Peradeniya. That is where my roots are. And we were to engineering faculty, then all the way back to the Faculty of Arts, the Senate building and all that. It was late evening. The team asked Prasanna, this would be really difficult for your students to walk around. Your faculties are quite spread across. How do they manage going from faculty to faculty? And it took a while for them to understand there is no such walking from faculty to faculty. Unless you are in the Hantan Explorer, probably you have your girlfriend, right, on the other side of the Akka Bridge. Except for that, there is no, teaching happening in different faculties. And that was quite surprising for them. And then I was just thinking, we share probably an extent of, I don't know, probably just few acres only, University of Moratuwa. So that itself brings a lot of opportunities in comparison to other universities. You go out from your faculty and you are stepping into another faculty. So we live quite, we have a much better neighborhood. I see that as an opportunity if you really want to be more collaborative, starting from the undergrad level itself. This is something that I really wanted to mention.
Thank you. I think we are finding synergy in the panel in finding the way forward. Moving to Professor Gopura, same question, opportunities and barriers. Now, one thing we recognize, we do have 10 centers. And as you correctly mentioned, some of them are status of it and the visibility is a big question mark. So how do you respond to this question of opportunities and centers, considering this existing centers that we have a possible arm to take it forward?
Right. Before answering the question, I will first briefly explain that platforms we have given for our staff to collaborate. Right. So one thing is, I think now we have centers. In order to establish centers, we have some guidelines. And also recently, a Senate appointed a committee to relook at the guidelines. So then I think the panel discussed and gave our recommendation to the Senate. And the centers are one thing, one platform for the collaboration, for the multidisciplinary research. In addition to that, from the FGS, we have 3 degree programs. Those are multidisciplinary. Of course, FGS, we are the administrative body for the research degrees, MSc, MPhil, and PhD. So those 3 degrees, multidisciplinary variant are also there. So that means PhD in multidisciplinary we can have. So multidisciplinary PhD, to register, we need multidisciplinary area supervisors. Not only one area supervisor cannot be there. So that is, I think, one other platform to have a multidisciplinary collaborations. In addition to that, recently we were discussing with the SRC also to have a multidisciplinary journal inside the university. But there are different views. whether a university should publish a journal. But recently we could see like Cambridge and some other places, they have their own journals. So likewise, we also thought about to have multidisciplinary journals. In addition to that, I think Professor Buddhika will explain later probably. We are trying to give grants for the project which are multidisciplinary. So now in the grant schemes, we have not considered much about the multidisciplinary aspects, but in the future, we will think more about the multidisciplinary or the collaboration when we offer the grants. In addition to that, we always, as SRC as well as FGS, we always support for the publications which are multidisciplinary. So coming back to your question, which is related to the opportunities, as well as before that I will give some barriers. Now, even multidisciplinary or not, for the research, we are having a lot of barriers. Of course, all of you know, if you want to start a research, we need people, and then places, as well as funding. So of course, we know we have people, and funding also we can find, right? Funding we can find, but the issue is mostly the guidelines and administrative structure of the universities, especially state universities. Being a state university, we have that disadvantage. Say, if you want to have a collaboration with a foreign entity, right? Up to 2019, as a university which has autonomy, we can, if the collaboration need MOU or agreement, we could easily get the council approval and sign the agreement or the MOU. We can move forward with our research. But after 2019, now government has involved for our MOU and agreements. So we have to get the government approval. So after getting the approval of the council, we have to get the government approval. So if the government needs approval, it's okay. But the issue here is the time taken for the approval. If we approve the MOU or the agreement by the council, then it has to go to the government approval. We usually send it to the UGC. After that, we don't know what will happen. So I have first-hand experience for one of our grants with Erasmus, where two staff members from here will go to the Dublin City University, and two of them come to here. But based on the Erasmus procedures, we have to sign an agreement. So we have sent the council approved agreement last year, November. Still, we do not know where it is. So we have sent it to the UGC, and I always pressing our external affairs AR, Ms. Yasodhara, but she is also does not have any idea. So this kind of thing, we have to have a mechanism. If the government needs to provide the approval, okay, we would like to get the government approval, but the thing is, there should be a mechanism to expedite it. So I can remember 1 year grant, in order to get the approval, it has taken more than 1 year. So then with this kind of administrative structures and guidelines, how we can move forward, even not multidisciplinary or collaborative research, any research. So these kind of things we have to now. So we all mentioned that we have to change this. Now we ourselves have to change that. Now all of us are dean or dean's representative. We are in the higher management. So we have to start initiative to change that. Of course, we have started. We have discussion with different parties. Now we have pressed to the vice chancellor. He is discussing those with the CVCD committees, and even last week when the UGC chairman came to here, we discussed this matter, particularly this matter with him. He has also mentioned he is also trying. And of course, fortunately, he mentioned that soon that problem will be eliminated. The eliminated means actually the expedite. So if we have different level of agreement, so for the different level of agreements, we can have different procedures. If finances are involved, another one. If some other procedures are involved, not finances, some kind of agreement. So in that way, we can expedite the process. So that is one major issue, like procedural issues. In addition to that, when we have collaboration with the department, especially in multidisciplinary centers, we had an issue. Now, initially, those centers started as virtual centers. They don't have a place. Now, when the centers are developed, of course, we need a place. So when we try to get the place, sometimes in the multidisciplinary centers, different departments, they don't have places. Even if they have a places, there is no mechanism to allocate that place for the center. Even if you can allocate that, there's again who will keep the inventories. So those kind of simple issues will come. But we are trying to solve this, but those are the ground level issues we have. And in addition to that, now a collaboration, when you have the collaboration, of course, you need to have collaborative mind. Sometimes you have to set aside your ego, right? Otherwise, you cannot have a collaboration with different entities. One good example, again, as one of my first-hand experience, we are having a collaborative grant with Imperial College, which is a huge grant offering from NIHR, National Institute of Health Research, which involves a lot of stakeholders, NIHR, Imperial College, and University of Moratuwa, and University of America, Beirut, likewise different entities. And different people with different expertise there, engineers, mechanical, electrical, and electronics, and computer science, as well as doctors, orthopedic surgeons, and different areas. And also people with humanities background, as well as physiotherapists. A lot of people are involved. So we could get this grant and continue successfully because we had the collaborative mindset. And also, we do not have egos, especially when we work with the people from UK. So they are very friendly, no ego. Even we have done very similar small kind of a work, so they appreciated a lot. So we know this is nothing, but they appreciated a lot. So that kind of a mindset should be there if you want to have a very good collaborations. So if I mention about the opportunities, since we have now 6 faculties, Faculty of Medicine. So I'm happy that I am a part of the Faculty of Medicine until last year in the medical technology as first head. So we have developed the technology stream as well. So then there are a lot of opportunities with the medical faculty, all the faculties, even architecture, as we discuss about the minor issue in the height of the room, how it's affect to the patient. Like different faculties, we have a lot of opportunities now since we have medical faculty as well. So since I have mentioned the NIHR grant, initially when we want to find doctors, we had to go to some other university. Or we had worked with some consultants now, so they are near to us. So then we have a lot of opportunities to work with them. And also, there are opportunities in different grants. They look for multidisciplinary teams. So that grant that I have mentioned, NIHR, they have a lot of grants. So for those grants, the team should be multidisciplinary. And also, as a developing country, we have another advantage. The team should have at least one developing country. So that is one other advantage. That kind of a grant, a lot of grants are available. Those are some of the opportunities we can tackle.
Thank you, Professor. And I think Professor Andanayak informed me that she has to leave for 12:15, right? That's fine. Okay, Professor Jayasekar, you can continue from there.
Okay, I think then we discuss about collaboration, what is, it is about how we can come out of this. I think regarding collaboration, I think we need to learn about art of collaboration, how to then all stakeholders should learn or be into this art of collaboration. Maybe university should facilitate that. From actually Office of Research or from the university side, To overcome these, we have to have some push, or we have to have some initiatives. As an example from SRC, if there's no collaboration happening, we have to have some mechanism or push to motivate our people or the staff members to have collaboration. Or maybe if it is a grant scheme, there should be a separate grant scheme priority. If it is a collaboration, we will give priority. Then there is a tendency to contact, even though they are still currently continuing one discipline, they may contact other discipline and start collaborating. Likewise, regarding undergraduate also, like in engineering faculty, there is some understanding that undergraduate project, undergraduate research, some staff members think that undergraduate project is just a design. There's no research in all that. But my viewpoint is, if it is a customized design, always there is a research, because we need to analyze, we need to check data. Therefore, those misconceptions or that how we think, we need to break out, and we need to discuss. Always research is there with the undergraduate work also, and maybe from the university side we can push all different disciplines to start research from undergraduate work. In addition to that, this collaboration also, from somewhere we need to have a mechanism for them to collaborate. Then that we need to make it happen. In addition to that, this next step of research, then normally we can identify, like university, even we need ranking or international visibility. That is one side. While serving national needs applications to achieve maybe better living standards by achieving sustainable development goals in a local context. I think we can focus on both. The same research group can have some outcome for the national side, or international level, that may be a different level. For all, maybe we have to have some support or directions from the university. And in addition to that, I think I forgot one, likewise somehow we can have a mechanism to come out of this current scenario, and I think we are with very big potential to deliver all these, but we need to get together all students, staff members, the university structure. Then other one is university structure. I think 2015, when we have this FGS, all Office of Research, the next step after research commercialization, that is also already in set up, like that is University Business Linkage Cell and Enterprise. It is there, it is all processes are defined. I think business faculty can collaborate with them, and therefore you don't have to again have another structure. It is already there, I think, with all approvals, documents. It is there, I think today we miss the director, UBLC. Then maybe other research level steps also we can link to them. Then therefore by default, next step after a research, they may go for a patent or a product design. Okay. Those are the things I think we can go forward, and I think we could be able to do some of these within the constraints, within some of our, like in our control, university level, like international linkages or working with MOUs, they are outside and we can push. But I think initially, as the first step, we can correct all these different aspects, multiple directions within the university, and we will maybe by the next research week, we can see some progress. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor. Although we are behind the schedule, it will be very unfair if we don't give the chance to the small audience to interact. So questions, suggestions, and how we can work together. I'll open the floor for discussion for our participants.
Right. Thank you very much for. I have, you are talking about breaking silos, barriers, and solutions. And I'll talk on barriers first and again solutions. and most of the ideas, one barrier you can see with the audience. Right? Now, to collaborate, we need to know who are available in the university, cross-discipline. To know who are in the university, you need to get together. One such opportunity is UMTA get together. Other thing is Research Week. So I got to know to other faculty people only through these two venues, and I cannot recall anything else. So you are invited for example, business research chair session or something, then we go to the business faculty if you are relevant only. So then what is the university's commitment to make this mixing happen among the academics? We talks about, now we had last Tuesday industry forum at Race Expert City, and what they saying is the industry complains that if you give a project to one department, they don't want to go to talk to the other department, because the discipline, the project requires multidisciplines, but only that department try to solve the problem. And they think there is no cross movement in between same faculty, within same faculty sometimes. So what I suggest is, now again, with the formula student, we recruit other faculty students for the international project. Now the thing is, they are leaving because with the timelines and the flexibility, they don't have flexibility within their rigid semester framework and other administrative barriers to collaborate with the collaborative project with other departments or other faculties. So what I suggest is, now we need to, because after this, before also I was talking with doctor, after this panel discussion, what will happen? Now that forum also, one person said this, that forum, industry forum has been happened 30 years ago, same way, nothing has happened. So we can discuss the action points after this to your white paper to make the prominence within the University of Moratuwa, prominence to collaborations. First thing is facilitating cross movement in between faculties, so that the university administration, as you all are in the senior level as deans, to force the administration, or rather make the administration understand that the value of these kind of research week is the main forum for us to discuss. Now you were doing elephant something, I have been done this as well as a consultant in Mahavali something. So there had been Professor Rangika in civil, I know because of that, again with the Alivata thing. Now there are so many elephant related people in the Moratuwa, but we may not know somebody else will be there. Right? We don't know. Until otherwise we come to a forum like this, Research Week or these kind of forums, we don't get together what our talents are to cross interact. So to break the silo, one thing is first need to make a forum. That forum has to be happen, I think, this facilitating. So otherwise this hole should be filled. If that prominence or commitment is there within the university, that encouragement to research. And for the white paper, I have another point for the PG programs, each faculty, Professor Sandhanayake mentioned about the consultancies. Other than the consultancy, we earn a lot of money through PG programs, taught programs, 35% given to the university. How that is being invested to develop research. Part of, if we have a figure, a percentage value of the generated revenue, again pump back to research, promote research, developing centers, multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary, whatever, then per year. So we are generating a lot of funds. And now there is a government circular on taking the generated funds back. But if we can tell the government what we are doing this with the generated funds, which is a legitimate as a research institute or a university, then in that vibe, let's say 20%. So research, the good thing, there are so many good things like research allowance. Now directors of research, previous two directors are doing a marvelous job in terms of encouraging researchers. Anyway, in the university, there will be percentage of research enthusiasts. We need to promote them. If we promote them, others will attract to the people who are in the border, will attract to do research. Otherwise, there's a lot of red tape is there with the administration. If you take our timeline, considerable amount of our workload is gone to filling forms. Now, if you take MPhil research application form itself has so many duplications. One thing asks in point number 5, again asks in point number 8. So duplication and therefore returning. So it's going back and forth, take time. So these things again digitalize. We talk about to this UGC's chairman as well. So to the white paper, I propose a point, allocate a percentage from the generated from funds. So that's one from me. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, expert team, for your valuable input. And I am Galhenage Asha, professor at the Department of Material Science and Engineering. I really appreciate at least now it is high time for us to work together as we focus on multidisciplinary research and collaboration. And the library shared information about the research progress. In there, I observed that until 2019, a steady growing of the research publication and some going down after 2019. I guess we had research financial support through the university funds. Because of the economic meltdown after COVID, those things are reduced and then now we are receiving nothing. So I guess we have huge strength undergraduate. So at that time, there are some fund allocation for undergraduate projects. I hope again you can re-look into the support the undergraduate projects. You can think incorporation of multidisciplinary in there. So supporting undergraduate projects, a little money, not like the postgraduate one. You can see some. Again, we can come back into that steady growing process. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the informative panel discussion, and it's really good to see that all our deans in one platform where we have discussed here about how we can promote multidisciplinary research. But my question is, when it comes to even our undergraduate research, we are publishing, whether it is multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary, we are publishing few papers and thereafter we are not going to the industry. Our research output is not going to the industry. That's a major problem. So in our theme also, that social impact is not discussed in detail in today's panel discussion. So I would like to ask from the top management, like what is the push from the university towards taking our research to the society?
I will answer at my capacity, answer to Professor Gamage's comments. I think our infrastructure would not facilitate any meetings as such. But just imagine where, if you have a, where will you do that within the university? Do we have a central notice? No. Just beside, but I mean, there should be a central place where people might stay for some time until they notice what's happening, right? Now, if you want to have a display, today's events or something, right? So that is where we have to start, right? It's the information dissemination. It's just to tell others what's happening. Even the students might not know about the research week, right? Because once they enter the university, they might see displays here and there, but we have we don't have any organized way of information dissemination. And the information is just the information of events that would happen within the university. And also, where are the places where researchers can meet and talk? The canteen. I mean, if there are no infrastructure facilitating the meetings, now we meet each other during the faculty board only, right? Thereafter we never meet. Now the faculty board, we just come, sit, have a tea, go back, right? No discussions about any research, right? As long as we don't, the university won't facilitate such things. miracles might not happen, right? And always, now even at civil engineering, we have a big building infrastructure, but there aren't any single place for postgraduate students to gather, right? They occupy spaces here and there within their laboratories. But I always was discussing the point that postgraduate students have to meet, discuss their, at least within departments, they have to know what others are doing, but they don't know each other after spending 2 years as research students. When they graduate, they don't know what's happening in the laboratory next doors. They have never seen other researchers. But we have to bring the researchers at least together in social forums at least, right? And these postgraduate, I always encourage the postgraduate budgets to have an direct expense item, say liberally allocating large sums for research promotion, symposiums, seminars, and so on, right? And the university might not allow you to have more than 50% as direct expenses, but we have to talk to the university about that, right? Now, when the students pay, say, additional sums beyond postgraduate diploma for research, why should the university retain 35% out of the research expense, right? So deliberately, the university is lowering the amount that is put into research work, right? So you have to ask the university not to tax on the component that the students are paying for research. We have to allocate that for the individual research of the students. The university should not consider that as the income of the university. That is the allocation for research work. Say if I charge 350,000 for PG diploma, and if they need to pay 50,000 rupees for the MSc component, that 50,000 should entirely be spent on research work. That is at the bottom line, the minimum, right? If the university if they put a tax on that, what can we tell the student? Right? You have only partial funding for your research. It's not the case, right? So we have to go beyond the traditional way of thinking those things, right? And Professor Asha was, can you? Yeah. I mean, it's very painful to recall what the university told us. The money is available, right? You can't even travel from here to Colombo 2 times with that amount of money allocated for final year research, right? So the university is forcing us to do literature review. That's all. That's the research. Beyond that, no, that is the bitter truth that we have to face. We have to at least put this in the written form and then communicate this, right? And what's your
undergraduate research?
Yeah, undergraduate research.
Dissemination.
Yeah, because undergraduate research, we should not undervalue that. That has a lot of potential to at least to carry forward, right?
Yes, sir. Now, what I'm asking is from the university end, what is the push towards taking our research findings to the society? Because even when it comes to the universities, we cannot take, let's say, conference registration even.
No. We always, what we do is we have conference proceedings. Now, we have to go beyond that. The final year research should be in print form. Maybe not hard copies, but even published online, so that there's visibility for the research done, right? And we have to send that across the industries, right?
Yes, sir. When it comes to practical implement,
even I don't have my own personal web page, right? I have published, but my papers are not visible. I was telling others to do so, right? But we have to, without any delay, we have to make our publications visible. Can be postgraduate, can be the top journals, can be undergraduate research. And undergraduate research cannot be undervalued, right? So what we need is we have to promote ourselves. right? And the university would have no option but to let we promote ourselves, right?
So I can add Tarushi's question. Now, until I think 2017, we didn't have commercialization arm, no link between university and the industry. Now, if you know, now we have the enterprise, university business linkage. So they can do a lot of work. But the thing is, they are always complaining the staff are not going there. So they would like to support us for the patenting as well as develop startups. So please go there. There are mechanisms. So we cannot complain. There are mechanisms. Issue is sometimes the message has not passed to the our community. So they are waiting for us. Because even in the industry forum, we discussed a lot of things as Dr. J.R. mentioned. So we can continuously discuss, but we have to take our initiatives. So Tarushi's point, yes, Tarushi's point, we have the mechanism, right? University Business Linkage Cell, they support for the patenting as well as they can link with you the related industries. Please go there. So it's in the downflow of the FGS, so you can go there, right? We have mechanisms.
Yeah, if I add to Tarusha's question, as he said, there are mechanisms already established, but then your next question may be about, again, to do this about the funding. Have we ever requested funding for these kind of dissemination activities from the university management? Whether they have rejected any. So that is something we have to look at. First, I think we should request and see. Without requesting funds, they will not come behind you and give funds. So I think we should first initiate from the academic side, and then we can support, as the administrators, we can support those applications. If they reject, then we can attend to that. We can convince the, let's say, maybe Vice Chancellor or the Registrar or Bursa, we can convince the importance of giving that fund. And that is how we have received most of the benefits that we are enjoying at the moment, all these, let's say, these awards. And we recently introduced a new award scheme, and he was able to get approval from the council for that new scheme. It's a very good scheme, and the researchers who publish papers can earn a quite decent amount from that scheme. So first we have to request, and then as administrators we can push the next level to get it from them.
So yeah, I think collectively we can do better.
Yeah, I think from the medical faculty's point of view, like say, what we do is yesterday we had these student annual academic sessions, which was very successful. I think Professor Kopuru also attended. And one thing I think with Professor Kamage's thing is now if this week, it might not be the whole week, but 2 or 3 days, if all the faculties are being released from their other activities, then of course there will be much more attendance and collaborations even among the students, right? When I was hearing to this aluminium, this thing, which is out of my field, I was very interested. I think a mind which is in an undergraduate level, we must be even more interested. And so I think that cross-disciplinary thing is what universities are all about. That is what I always say to medical students. You know, sometimes they do, when I just make a joke that when they go to a place, they don't talk much, not because they proud, they don't know other areas to talk about, you know, sometimes. So what we do in our university education is we try to, you know, narrow down to a particular field. So they know their field very well, but of course talk about environment, anything else, they are much, you know, their knowledge is narrow. So I think this cross-disciplinary thing, if we allow all the faculty students to give that opportunity to come and hear to these things, then of course that is where we will be really inspiring them to cross fields and do research in those things. So I think if we can as a university think of getting that done, that would be even more meaningful.
All right, just very quickly to add something, something that was very important was said about dissemination and creating the impact. Probably it's a matter of selecting the right research. Probably we need to do more applied research. Not to, by any means, this is not to set the benchmark to the entire university, but being a very young faculty, business faculty is now collaborating with industry quite closely for undergraduate projects themselves. We start with, we work with Shangri-La, we work with like MediHelp, we work with leading manufacturers. These are for undergraduate projects. Some of these projects were just presented during the recent conference. Well, probably it's a matter of choosing the right research theme which will eventually be implemented. There are some formal arrangements, maybe some of you must have heard about initiatives like CDIO, global initiatives. CDIO is an initiative coming from MIT, conceive, design, implement and operate, which has been embraced by like North European universities and Eastern universities. This has been now very well practiced. Probably such initiatives we should try to, it's a community, CDIO is a community where they promote more and more implementation and operation experience for the undergrads through their research. So these can be some of the very formal arrangements if we really want to, like if we really worry about dissemination and the impact. Very quickly adding to what Dr. JR said, it was actually in my star list. I should mention that I 100% agree with you. Now we, most of us were talking about having personal contacts. It's a proven way of improving collaboration. That was very well accepted. If that is the case, probably it is a matter of developing more personal contacts. So where do we network? Where do we meet each other? Where do we talk? I think that it's a big gap. This was said by my colleagues back in office. They wanted me to stress this point. We should have some, well, this technical mechanism is one thing, but we also need formal mechanisms to meet each other and to, have a more networking and come to know each other. Some of the cases were said there can be some trust issues, right? The trust is a problem of not knowing your companion, right? So probably having more networking, knowing each other can eventually create that culture of looking for more friendly and collaborative interfaculty collaborations. Well, that could lay a very good foundation. At later points, we can think of more technical, formal mechanisms of promoting collaborative research. But I 100% agree with you. We should again ask ourselves: do we know each other?
Regarding finally, we want to have this collaborative research ecosystem with better participation, better than the current. We are trying to initiate early in the 2025 various activities from Office of Research level and SRINAT Research Committee level. Please support all. Maybe we can meet occasionally and see how the things are going on. Regarding that, I think from the Office of Research, what we can, we will try to have some push, and we will see, would like to see positive outcomes towards the end of the year.
Thank you very much. And with that, I will quickly wrap it up. I think two key things I would like to reiterate from the discussion. I think one thing was undergraduate. How can we sort of get this in, and how we can have more networking? I know that UMT is currently working on sort of at least renovating the cafeteria, at least without simply putting chairs. If we can renovate that space as a gathering space with few opportunities to sort of discuss, could be the way forward, because without thinking of long-term things. But let's put everything into this white paper, and hopefully Professor Gopura can take it from there. And very quickly, let me thank Professor Ranatunga for when we are initially having the discussion on panel discussion, everyone was sort of not so favorable, I would say, of having this to talk about it. But thank you very much for having the faith on this. And a very big thank to Professor Gopura, Professor Sandanayaka, Professor Manatunga, Dr. Pilapiti, and Dr. Ilankun, and Professor Jayasekara for taking your valuable time to come here and talk, representing the administration. And a very big thank I think usually I don't mind the numbers in the audience, but this audience who really keen and interested in this topic, thank you very much for coming here and spending your time. So let me hand over it to Sutira, right, to take it forward. Thank you very much.
Right, that was a very eye-opening panel discussion, I would say. So if you take the concentration, we spoke a lot about multidisciplinary research and the collaborations that we have to make and the challenges and the opportunities that we have and how we are going to make those challenges into benefits or opportunities and what are the misconceptions and technically why we should go for multidisciplinary actions, giving examples like where we went wrong if we don't go for multidisciplinary researchers. So I thank a lot to the moderator or the facilitator of today's session, Dr. Chatura De Silva, for smoothly handling the session, and a special thank you goes to all the panelists who came here present, taking our invitation. It means a lot for us. So now I believe it's a time to present the tokens of appreciation to our moderator as well as to our esteemed panelists. So first of all, let me invite Professor Virajini Karunaratne to present the token of appreciation to Professor Jagat Manatunga, Dean Faculty of Engineering. Now let me invite Dr. Jayani Sudusingha to present the token of appreciation to Professor Yasangika Sandanayaka, Dean Faculty of Architecture. Then let me invite Dr. Tharu Sharanadeva to present the token of appreciation to Dr. Pilapitiya. Next, I invite Dr. Nayani Gunawardana to present the token of appreciation to Dr. Ilangakoon. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Nadika Jayavira to present the token of appreciation to Professor Ruwan Gopura. Next, I invite Dr. J.R. Gamage to present the token of appreciation to Professor Buddhika Jayasekar. Finally, to present token of appreciation for the moderator or the facilitator of today's session, now I cordially invite Professor Gayatri Ranatunga to present the token of appreciation to Dr. Chatura. Thank you. So with that, we are reaching the conclusion of today's panel discussion, which enriched with many things that we have to think about and which opened our eyes in many different ways. And obviously, the discussion helped us to see different angles of the issues that is currently in the universities when it's come to multidisciplinary researchers and how to implement them. So with that, we conclude the session. I hope the session would be another cornerstone in the research journey of the University of Moratuwa. Thank you.